Hi everyone. This is a video to talk about the results from the survey that you took last week during week 5 so that you can see what feedback was given to me, or at least most of it, and what decisions I'm going to make because of that. Anytime we collect information or do evaluations with people, we need to close the loop with them. We need to let them know what happened with it. Maybe it's just to say, thank you for the feedback. We decided not to change anything, but we appreciate your comments. Maybe it's to say, based on this suggestion, we're going to change these things or whatever it is. But it's important to always let those people who were participating or who are stakeholders in knowing about this evaluation, you need to let them know what is happening with it. So often these things get filed away in a drawer and never used for a purpose. And so it's good to know for yourself and for whoever is participating that it's being used for a purpose. So that's why I'm sharing these results with you, so you know what's going on. So the question, what would you like me to stop doing in this class? And there were several responses to that. And some people said, don't stop doing anything. So I didn't include those responses here, but I do appreciate you letting me know that you thought that things were going well and that you didn't think it needed to be stopped. So some people mentioned that the peer review feedback was repetitive, that people aren't necessarily giving adequate feedback when you're sharing your assignments with each other. This is more something I think for you as students to pick up on and maybe step up a little bit, that maybe the feedback could be better for those assignments as you're helping each other, that trying to dig a little deeper or be a little more critical might be helpful in making that feedback more useful for people involved. So I apologize if it's repetitive, but that's an optional activity that you can do if you choose, and I hope it will be useful for you, even if some of it is repetitive or if you don't think it's as useful. I hope at least some of you find it useful. And I'm not quite sure what else to say about that one. So I also got this, that too much information can be confusing. I hope I'm not overwhelming you too much. I've tried to make the frameworks and my feedback simple, but I still want to provide you with enough information that you can make the needed changes and that you can move forward with the class. So I'll probably continue to provide the information. If it's confusing, feel free to talk to me. I'm glad to help clarify questions or help you sort through what needs to be done so that we can make sure you're doing okay and can have the help that you need so you can move forward with the class. This third bullet point, I think, is more of a misunderstanding, that students participate in grading the case study. That's not the case. So I grade it. And I've had experience doing this before. So I am currently a graduate teaching assistant, and I was a teaching assistant last semester in the fall for Robin as well, with this same class, this course. And so I've graded the assignments before and have experience doing that. So I don't know if that's what you're referring to, whoever made this comment, or if you thought that the students, as they're giving feedback in the forum, if that's part of the grade. But I don't take that into account in grading. That forum is just for you to be able to give feedback and hopefully get some help if you have questions about your assignment. So I'm the only one that does the grading. So it's all just from me. And I've done it before, and being the instructor, I'm looking at it from that perspective. So I hope maybe that clarifies that a little bit, and let me know if there's a problem or if you still have concerns about that. Additionally, having the forum to share your assignment might be confusing to some people. I've added to the framework a line in the assignments that says that you need to participate in the regular discussion, and I hope that adding a heading as well in the optional forum. I added a heading that says that it's not required, but that it's optional for you to share things. So maybe that will help you keep it straight a little bit as we go through the course. I try to have only one task per bullet point, and I don't keep the graduate students separate from the regular students because doing so is actually really cumbersome on my part. Moodle is a very clunky system to use. It's not super, it's user friendly, but it doesn't have a lot of features, a lot of flexibility and things. So to try and keep it separate between the graduate students and the other students is really quite a challenge. So I've tried to make it explicit what is for graduate students and what's not. So hopefully it's not too confusing, but that's something that probably isn't going to change this semester. I have made shorter questions in the discussion board starting with week 6, so hopefully it will be a little bit easier to sort through those questions and be a little easier to form your thoughts about the discussion and participate there. And this comment about requiring a personal picture, I think is really fair. And providing a picture isn't something that's required per se. It's not graded. You're not going to be docked points or diminished for not including it. But it is helpful for me to be able to see a picture because I never meet you. And if I just have this little image that's just random from Moodle, I have a hard time connecting with that. I don't remember that image as much. Whereas if I at least have a little picture, as I go through the discussion boards, I see it and it gives me an automatic recognition or connection to who you are, at least in a little way. So you don't have to do it if it's something that you're uncomfortable with, or you could email me about that if you choose, but I think it is helpful. So I do encourage people to do it and would like you to do it, but if it's really a problem for people, you don't have to do that. So just be aware of that. And I'm sorry if that wasn't clear before. So with the question of what you would like me to start doing in the class, again, some people said nothing, that it's going well, and I appreciate that feedback. Some of the things that people mentioned is that maybe putting out reminders to groups for lack of participation, which I did for one of the groups a couple weeks ago. Wasn't participating as much, so I just sent out a reminder about that. So I'll continue to do that if I see that there's a problem, but for the most part, I haven't been worried about that this semester. Somebody wants more examples, and I'll try and provide more examples as we go through the course about the different evaluations and such. I did add check boxes next to the items that are due each week. And reflecting back on what I've done, I put check boxes next to all of those things that are both required and due. If it would be helpful, I can add check boxes next to the framework as well, so you can mark off that you've completed the reading and the videos for the week. But it's not a graded assignment, so I don't know if that would be helpful. So if that would be useful, maybe send me an email so that I can know if that would be something that would be of interest to people. So that would be helpful for me. Then I really love this comment, this fourth bullet, that having a weekly forum discussion on an online setting, such as like a video chat through Skype or Google Hangouts, could be an option. And I've thought about doing that before, but not really had a good way to do that. So I would be open to doing that. Maybe I can put out a question to the class to see if there are people that would be interested in that, and maybe set up a group that could meet over a video chat each week, or have a way to sign up so that you can do a video chat instead of talking through the forum. I would be game for that. So I'll think about that some more this next week or two and see if I can figure out a way to make that work and consider doing that. So I'll try to work with that suggestion. I do like the suggestion and I really appreciate that perspective. Having a more specific framework was mentioned. I've tried to make it fairly specific, but I can try and make sure that it's detailed and that you have the information that you need as you keep going. Being able to see other people's work from other groups. I'm not quite sure exactly how to do that because I think that having the smaller groups is useful so that it's not overwhelming the big discussion groups. But I will mix up the groups as well. So if there's somebody, maybe a solution would be that if there's somebody you want to be in a group with, you can send me an email or a message so that I know. Because if this was a face-to-face class, I'm sure you would probably sit by people that you knew from other classes or had a connection with, and that's not a problem. And I don't mind putting you in groups with other people. Honestly, the groups are just random. I pick names and put them in groups together. So I'm completely fine with putting you in a group with somebody that you want to be with. So just send me an email and let me know, and I can make sure you're with somebody specific if that's what you would like. I did simplify the questions for the discussion, and I am working on getting the rest of the semester available. There is a tentative outline in the syllabus at the end to show what assignments and readings are coming up for the whole semester. It is tentative. Sometimes things change or get added, or the reading might change a little bit. It's pretty standard, though. It shouldn't change too much. And what you've experienced so far in the class is going to be very much what you're going to experience in the rest of the class. There aren't going to be huge, overwhelming assignments. Really, it will be continuing to have some readings and some discussions and little activities and smaller assignments that are just in a week or two's time. It's not going to be anything huge or an assignment that will come up that you should have been working on all semester. If there's anything that we're working on, it's the case study assignment, but that's broken into smaller chunks. And so we are working on it through the semester. So there shouldn't be any surprises for you. It's going to be the same of what we've already had, for better or for worse. That will be how it is. So that will hopefully help with that. What you want me to continue doing in this class is assigning assignments every other week. I know that's been nice so far, but the next couple of weeks, that won't be the case. We'll have assignments every week, but the readings and learning activities for those weeks aren't quite as much. You'll be reading handouts instead of reading chapters from the book. So hopefully that compensates a little bit for it. So I apologize that that's how that will be as well. But being a pre-created course from somebody else, I don't have a lot of control over the assignments. I can change things if needed, if I talk to my supervisor about it, but those are just part of the course and the way it is for the most part. So I apologize that we can't continue having them just every other week. I'll keep doing the weekly videos. I'm glad that that's been helpful. Lots of people said that they really liked having the videos to explain things. So I'll keep doing that. And that's good for me to know that that's useful for you. Keep going with the frameworks, which those are going to stay as well. Grading and giving feedback. I'm going to try to keep doing grading as quickly as I can. Sometimes it's a challenge. I've been sick most of this last week and my kids have been sick. So this week's grading was a little bit slower, and we all have other aspects of life with work or school or family that sometimes make it a challenge to make everything a priority and to get everything done right away. But I'll try and get the grading done and give feedback as soon as I can. Hopefully, my goal is to be able to get it done within that week, hopefully within a few days, but within that week is what I'm aiming for. And then I'll try to keep a variety of perspectives and provide more resources for topics as we continue through the class. I'm glad that it's useful to be able to share assignments. I'll keep adding the discussion board so you can share assignments with people, because I want you to be able to have that chance, even though there's been a little bit of confusion for some people on making sure things are due. I hope some of the changes I've made with adding checkboxes and such will maybe make that a little bit more clear. And I'll try to keep giving examples as well. And then most of the feedback I got about this question was more just for me and my information. So I'm not going to share most of that with you, but these things I think were worth mentioning, of opening up the check boxes on Moodle, which I've done, and I hope you'll let me know if that's working or not, just through a quick email. Seeing grades and feedback posted sooner, I'll try to keep doing it as quickly as I can, as we just talked about. And then, am I here for the entire semester? The answer is yes. So hopefully that's an okay thing with you. But I'm been enjoying this class and seeing your perspective, and it's gone really well for me, and I've learned a lot from your perspective. So thank you for that. And I look forward to continuing to learn with you through this semester. So let me know if you have any questions. I'm glad to talk to you about any of these things or anything else that you're concerned with, and I will see you online.